What's up with y'all, YouTube? So I meant to do this over the weekend. So we're talking a little bit about these protests. Now, look, we're not trying to be racist like we said before. We're not trying to, obviously illegal. You don't belong here properly. You need to uproot. You know what I mean? Some of us have to deal with the long-standing history in this wonderful country of ours, which it is. But you're illegals. Plus, you're racist as hell in the first place. And like I said, I've heard another umpteenth amount of black people that's on here, but including myself, I experienced more racism from a Mexican than anything else. But in addition to that, I don't understand how you talk about the minimum wage and stuff over here. So my thing is, the cost of living over there is what? $300, $200 you pay for a fucking apartment. You say you make about $30 a day. I looked out the low minimum wage average. You make about what, 250, 260 pesos. You Mexicans, you're hard working, right? You're the hardest working niggas out throughout history and ever on all the lands, every fucking where. You're gonna work about 7 days, a million hours a day anyway. You know what I mean? So 280, 250, 260, you divide it up in what? Your rate is 18 now. You know what I mean? It's about 10 pesos over there. Exchange rate from US dollars is 18. So you concentrate too much on the US. So let's get off the US part. You pay just strictly Mexico, you're gonna do about 10 pesos. It costs about 10 pesos to the US dollar 10 pesos period. So you're doing about that. So you're gonna do what, about $30 a day, roughly. You know what I mean? Even on the higher end, you do about 3 something, right? So weekly, you're gonna do about 2 something. You know what I mean? For the month, you do about what, 800, 900. You can make up on the higher end to about 1,000, a little more. You know what I mean? That's what you spend on your housing is less than what you make on your. You should spend more than 30% on housing. You know what I mean? Out of a whole 100, you only spend that 30. You still got that amount. So it seems like you're making more over there than what you come over here, because these fools are spending what? If you over here and you're in America, you're doing about what? 60-70% of your income is going into your housing. So you ended up relatively broke on the back end, right? So you doing probably a little more than that. You probably only spending like 80% of your income. If you're doing about 2,000, your rent's about, you're doing about 2,500, your rent's about what, 15, 14. You spending more. You're spending more over half. So I think you winning more being in Mexico. You know what I mean? So you're saving more than 70% of your income. Even though it seems lower, you know what I'm saying, to try to come over to be over here and be poor. So you come over here to be poor because you got the highest welfare rates, and especially in California, you're the highest welfare recipients. So you come over here to be poor, and then you go back over there, you can be rich, right? Because relatively, if you just stop concentrating on the U.S., you know what I mean, and what your exchange rate would be. You know what I mean? And just strictly your cost of living and everything for what Mexico is, not for what Mexico wants to be for the U.S. Not what the U.S. is, because you stop concentrating on the U.S. and what the U.S. is. You would see that you would make more over there, right? Because you would spend less on even though it would make less dollar amount here, yes, obviously. Because you're making half of what, almost 18 pesos to our dollar, so it's almost relatively half, almost 19 now, so it's almost half, right? But we're not concentrating on the U.S. because you're not in the U.S. So what you would be spending in your economy for Mexico would still be the same amount, right? You would save more, because you would only be spending 30% of your income on housing instead of 70% or whatever amount they used to be sending over here, because the rent's a lot higher. Right? So, I mean, it's just food for thought. You know what I mean, Mexicans? I mean, hey, because I experienced way more racism from you. I'm not a tweaker, so I understand you guys trying to go around to grabbing. I understand your ideology when you come over here trying to go up to black people, because a lot of you it's not even a lot of you. A lot of you are just faking, funking, all that little fucking whatever, fucking dope, whatever it sells. You guys are just as many dope heads as anybody else. But you try to make your little Benjamins in between. You know what I mean? You try to go up to every black person that's you think that's a tweaker, that's doing dope, which the majority of us aren't. But you try to find the ones that are, and you try to phone a black friend, and that's who your black friend is. So and then you try to control them. And the reason we're not for you to control. We're not your fucking puppets. We're not your slaves. You could talk about who was here before you. So look, Also, on top of that topic, look, the Mexicans that were here were indigenous to certain tribes up here. It was a Titicana, Iticana, if you want to go back to other shit and yada, yada, yada. The ones that you could claim to be were way further down south. So they had nothing to do with the Mexicans way up here. They were way, 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 way further down south. So if you want to start doing history shit, you want to throw some shit in there, we'll make that a whole nother segment. But yeah, check out your economy-wise, because you're saving more money over there, you know what I mean, by being over there, and stop trying to find your little tweaker black people over here that you're trying to coon and buffoon and trying to turn against people and trying to gang stalk, whatever the hell y'all weird ass niggas do, and try to have them follow around just because you want to pedal off your little fucking 2 seconds of dope, which ain't worth crap. It's not worth shit. You probably get more money off of fucking coke and everything else than you fucking or crack than you do off of your meth these days. So go sit down somewhere because you're tweaking, been up for 5 or 6 days, want to cause riots. Now you didn't cost us more money. You know what I mean? They charged these military $134 million in one day the last time they put them out. So it can probably be, the bill's up to probably $1 billion now. You know what I mean? So that means more jobs that they have to lose, more inflation because the dollar's not backed by anything. So I mean, you're just costing us more money, you know, all over the place. Now they got to probably make cuts all over the place in California because of you. They got to do this, down the third because of you. So your little dope money, your little fucking bullshit ass tweakers that you're trying to find going around these streets ain't making up for it. So yeah. We just want to say, you know, it's all right. You know, y'all go over there and go live your life. You know what I mean? Think about the dollar amount. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? It's all right. Think about it. You know, the exchange rate. You know what I mean? You probably fare a little bit better because you're not gonna spend that much. You know what I mean? It's gonna be yo 30% to you know, ours 60, 70. 80% that you're spending on your motherfucking rent is probably closer to 75, 80. You know what I mean, at this point. So you're actually losing money versus, you know, you just have to learn how to save your pesos. You know what I'm saying? You just go over there, y'all be all right. But love y'all, you know.